I show you something here. This is a new book by Dr. Warren Stanton, who happens to sit next to me. And the title is Beyond Belief, Living a Fearless Life. So I convinced him that it may not be a waste of time to spend a second or two discussing the book here.
Yes, it took a lot of convincing.
Yeah, I like the title, Warren. Beyond Belief is a fantastic title, and it certainly fits in with new trends that we see in psychology, where people start to believe less and less in conventional concepts and so forth.
Yeah, I liked it because it had a double meaning as well.
What's the double meaning?
Well, beyond belief then usually means like it's unbelievable, and then the other meaning of it being that it's, you know, to get what we're looking for in terms of an enjoyable, pleasant life, we need to go beyond our beliefs. So it had that double meaning for me.
How come you say that life is more enjoyable if you are not believing in something? You know, all the religions and other spiritual paths, they are often based on belief, and that is supposed to bring you the joy. So how come you tell people that this is not the case?
It's based on an understanding that the core part of you is a pleasant, wonderful experience.
How do you know?
Just by exploring it. I mean, most people who do meditation know that. You know, when you're using a part of your mind, usually involving awareness, to look into a part of you that is not based in your thought processes.
Right.
And invariably people find that it's actually a source of the things that they're looking for in life: the peace, the contentedness, simple joy of living, sense of belonging. All those things are already existing deep within ourselves.
Yes, I have to admit that I had a sticky big into this book, and I see that on the first few pages you actually deliver the proof.
Yes.
That if you don't engage your mind in some activity by believing in something, or in conceptual activity, by just resting it, you come to a place that is comfortable. I mean, who says that it is comfortable? It could theoretically be an awful place.
Yeah.
Let's say you get rid of thoughts and suddenly you end up in hell because you feel so distressed and you know, there could be a very bad emotion by leaving your concepts behind, but it seems that everybody has that experience of more quietness, more peace, more contentment.
Yeah, the proof of the pudding, as they say, is in the eating. So, generally, if people do explore that, that's the experience they have. I mean, the odd person who might say that when they do that, it feels unpleasant, generally is doing something else with their thinking mind that's an interpretation, or colours that innate experience and turns it into something else, turns it into an unpleasant experience.
Yeah, could it be that by getting to this place that is calm and content, that you potentially challenge all the subconscious scripts that then come up and you have to face them?
Yes.
And that may be then the misinterpretation where people say, oh, sorry, it's not very nice there.
Yes, that is an additional component of it, that if you explore that core part of you, it is also more likely to expose those other scripts or belief structures or programs that would tell you otherwise. But again, if you understand that core sense of self is coming from a different place or a different mind, as we might say, that you can then separate the two and use your core experience of harmony to address those unpleasant experiences. But that's more the counselling side of things. You know, that's more of an application of that core sense of self, and usually done through what's called a mindfulness process, which is something that I'm quite interested in.
But it's not part of this book?
Yes, there is later on in the book. There is an explanation. I mean, part of the solution is to learn how to, or to see how to use that core sense of harmony to sustain and maintain a pleasant experience of life, and that also means addressing those scripts or schemas. So yeah, no, that's one of the reasons that I did write the book, to cover that side of it.
So to address that core part,
Yeah.
which then sorts things out, perhaps. The addressing, how does the addressing itself happen? Does it happen just by giving it a little bit more attention?
Yes,
Yeah.
as simple as. A lot of people say it is a mindfulness process, which is using a faculty that everybody's got, which is their awareness. And basically that if you give that awareness, if you become subjective, as opposed to being in your thinking mind,
Yes.
being subjective, or just subjecting yourself to the life experience that you're having, really by definition means that you're meditating. And when you do that, that's when you're engaging in that type of experience.
And ideally, that would be what's happening all day.
You could do that all day, yes.
Yes. And it would probably be spontaneously happening all day, you know, as long as there's some effort.
As long as you're giving it attention.
Yeah,
Yes.
the attention could be there effortlessly, perhaps, once you get sort of acquainted with it again.
Yes, well, once you understand that experience is openly available to you,
Yes.
of course you would be interested to give that more attention.
Yes,
And that then results in it having a more pleasant effect on you.
yes. All right. I think that's great. I mean, that what you just said, you could probably put on 3 pages. So what else is written in it? I know that you have lots of terms in here that may be of interest for many
Yes.
people, such as the term instinct.
Yeah.
Now, what has that to do with what we were just talking about?
Well, I'm using the term more quite broadly, but it basically refers to a sense in us that would lead you to that experience. You see, in most cultures, or particularly Western cultures, we've been taught to use our thinking mind, and to a large extent that obscures that innate sense of feeling good.
Right.
So that if you listen to your instinct, then it will take you to that state or space or to that experience.
Yes. You're taking the term instinct broadly. It's not just a physical instinct. It's an instinct that sort of goes everywhere. Or what? How would you describe it?
Just a sense.
A sense of.
It's a sense of what is good for us. And like the normal definition of instinct is that it keeps us alive. But I think it's a much broader term. For me, instinct is to thrive.
Yes.
It's not. So if you say it's an instinct to survive, it's that idea of just looking over your shoulder and, you know, keeping ahead of the all the unpleasantness. Whereas if the instinct is in fact prompting you to look for what is genuinely good and what feels good to you, and an instinctive sense of knowing is pointing you to those experiences, then that's a major function of your instinct.
It's certainly intriguing to have that term instinct be applied in such a broad way, which would encourage people to go beyond the structures of conditioned morality and ethics, perhaps even, and just start to trust more the instinctual impulses. Is that right?
Yes, which is fundamentally based in goodwill. So
and this is an interesting statement, isn't it? That instinct, according to Warren, is based in an outflow of
well, it might
expression.
be the other way around, that the goodwill is based in instinct. So, but it is our nature. What the case that I'm making is that it is our nature.
So the instinct to go for another event tomorrow that promises more satisfaction.
Yes,
Let's say going to another party.
Yes.
Would that be part of the instinct, or
Yes.
would that be part of the sense that I may not be connected to my instinct because my concept tells me there may be something else tomorrow that is more satisfactory than what I feel right now. Because if you're in your instinctual, in your spontaneous type of goodness, there may be less of a pull towards a concept that promises you a better life tomorrow.
Yeah, so that's where the thinking mind comes in. So the instinct is prompting you to look for what feels genuinely good to you. It's up to you to then explore what that is. There's two basic concepts there. One is that we can create a pleasant experience for ourselves. We don't have to just sit around and wait for it to come to us. And the other principle, so I guess a psychological principle, is that our mind answers every question that we ask. This is the sort of second theme that runs through the book. So it's saying that any question that you ask about life, your mind will give you an answer. So in theory, you could ask any question, and the one I pose in the book is to say, well, okay, I think of the loftiest question I could think of to ask you, what's the meaning of life? So if this is true, then your mind actually gives you an answer to that.
And the answer is not yet another belief.
No. But I don't want us to spoil the surprise by the time you get to the end of the book, Dietrich.
Okay.
I invite you to have a look at what, I address sort of, why don't we get the satisfying answers? Largely because we put the beliefs in the way. We replace our instinct with sets of beliefs. So it's about changing that relationship. And I talk a lot about changing the relationship to fear, because fear is a thing that feeds a lot of our beliefs about life. And I spend a lot of time making a case that fear is not actually part of our instinct. Fright is, but fear is a learnt concept, so in the thinking mind. So they're the two themes that kind of run through the book. So I'm interested to hear what you think about it.
Okay, thank you very much for...